Om Shanti. I was thinking about sweetness this morning, and there is somebody who shared that they have a relationship, and there was years of bitterness in that relationship, and physically they stay very close, like the houses are very close to each other, and there was no communication whatsoever for so many years. And then when this lady, this Mata, she started coming to Baba, she just worked on the inside, and she tried to dissolve whatever she was holding in her heart and just replace it with unconditional spiritual love, not particularly for that soul, but just like that, changing who you are, not in relation or in context of anybody, but working on herself. And then she said, she was sharing that, Didi, that soul with whom I had almost what you could describe as years of animosity, she offered to come and wanted to have lunch with me. So she herself offered, and she said, why don't we meet and talk and have lunch together sometime? And then she said, Didi, now the relationship is so different. And although now that I'm Baba's child, I don't go into a lot of, interaction. But whatever the interaction is very loving and genuine and full of pure feelings. So you see, when you allow Baba's sweetness to become part of you, then that sweetness fills your relationships, your body, your every action that you do, your smile, your words, your deeds, that sweetness fills you like anything. And Baba always calls us meethe bacche. And I will tell you something about this meethe. So, when once Neville Bhai was sharing this, and Neville Bhai shared that when he was getting his book, released, then the editor had a lot of objection to this word sweet being used several times in the book. And then the editor said that, what is this sweet? And every time you are writing sweet, sweet in this book, and what is this sweet? I don't get it. So you see, in English it becomes very funny, this word sweet, but Baba says meetha, and meetha is a very, very interesting and good, feel-good word. So Baba says you become sweet. So this is about meethe bacche. And then in the Murli today, Baba is talking about the qualification to do seva. So Baba says, when you want to do spiritual seva, you have to be qualified for it. Spiritual seva cannot be done by everybody. And what is the qualification you need to do spiritual seva? It is purity. So until and unless you work on your purity, you are not capable of doing spiritual seva. So just like you want to do something in the world, you have to be qualified to do it. Yes, you want to change the plan of the town, you have to be qualified to do it. You have to be in that position. You can't do that just because you want to do it. Similarly, Baba says you want to change the way the spiritual reality today is. You want to do spiritual seva. The qualification is you become pure. And how does purity begin? So when we say purity, purity is a very big subject. So purity basically means no lust, no anger, no ego, no attachment, no greed. Now, how do you come to that? So Baba says, and then purity doesn't only mean know these things, but it means something very positive and absolute also. But let's just look at purity as the absence of lust, ego, anger, attachment, greed first. Then we'll look at what purity actually means. So when you say no lust, it means celibacy. So if there is no physical celibacy, at least, to begin with, then you cannot say you're working on purity. At least you don't have to use your body to perform violent acts. So if you're killing for food, or you are encouraging killing for food, or you are being violent through your words and actions, so that is far from pure. So anger, violence, these are a strict no when you are talking about purity. And Socrates said that you cannot talk of non-violence when you have a dead animal on your plate. So anybody who is killing for food or encouraging killing for food is far from purity. Then ego. So if my life is not simple, if I'm dressing to impress, if I'm talking to impress, that is far from purity. If I have greed, if I cannot relish pure food cooked in the remembrance of God, which is sattvic, if my taste buds are so out of control that I have to indulge in impure food, so that is greed. So we are talking about very basic level purity, that which is very obviously manifested in action. And then attachment. If I cannot even attend daily Murli or Manthan, or I cannot meditate because of somebody waiting for me or the timetable, so I'm too attached to my present context. So these are very, very gross and very obvious indicators of purity. So at least to do spiritual seva, we must attend daily Murli and Manthan and Yog without fail. At least we should be able to keep our food simple and pure, keep our lifestyle simple and pure, not engage in violence, at least not of killing animals, or beating somebody up or abusing somebody. And the lifestyle should be celibate. And this much to be qualified to do spiritual seva. And then there is no limit to how you can better your seva. That's another subject. But at least to be qualified enough, you have to start here. Now, even if you want to cut vegetables in the center, so if somebody offers me and says, Didi, I want to cut vegetables for Brahma Bhojan or for the Bhog, then I would ask you whether you practice celibacy, whether you are non-violent, whether you are working on your greed or your ego by adopting simple food and simple lifestyle. So then Baba says that if the answer is no, then I would not encourage you to cut vegetables in the center, because everybody eats food. So it's not food that is being offered as bhog. So, what is special about bhog? It is the vibration. And if the person who is cooking has the vibration of lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, then the whole purpose is forfeited. So, I'm talking about very simple things like to start with. And Baba says, in order to do any spiritual seva, you have to have purity. If impurity is forced upon you, no, impurity is a very private thing. Nobody can force it upon you. Purity and impurity is very private. People cannot force you for anything. You are a human being. I tell you one thing. No, even if, see, okay, so let me take this, deal with this in a very straight way. See, one could be in a position where you think something can be forced upon you. But just like Baba is telling you so many other things, Baba is telling you that you are a soul, you have the power to discern and decide, and you have the power to create the will to choose what you want to choose and what you don't want to choose. And even if you have not exercised that power until now, do that. And you don't have to be abusive or violent in expressing that. You can just express that by, so I will tell you what is determination, or when you are trying to do what you want to do, you don't have to fight with the other forces. You just have to persevere and not give up despite them. So you have to give full permission to everybody to be who they want, do what they want, and you should have enough power to not get affected by it. And if you are so relentless, then ultimately everybody will give up, because negativity cannot sustain itself very long in the face of positivity. So this is the thing. You have to know who you are and what your power is. Okay, so, and abusive situations. So you see, why have we given the indication to the other person that they have the right to abuse me? So you see, you signal, you have the way we have conducted ourselves, we have indicated it to people that they can abuse me. And if you have the power to say no, no has to be said in a very powerful way, then that abuse stops. You have heard of so many stories of people going through abusive circumstances and relationships, and then finally when they put their foot down, it stopped. And I will tell you, it is our fear which sustains other people's anger. If you give up on your fear, they will give up their anger. If you give up your fear, they will give up their anger. It is our fear that sustains their anger. So this is something that we need to note. So just like Baba is teaching us so many things, Baba is also telling us that you are a soul, you have a will, and then you can exercise that will and make good choices. Are we impure because of the past? Obviously, yes, because we have had that journey, and nobody is to be blamed because we all come from that place. But then we have to work on it now that we have the wisdom and the sanity. So you see, in earlier times, people did not know how they got a disease, so they couldn't do anything about it. Now we know, so we do something about it, right? So similarly, earlier we didn't know that impurity is like a spiritual disease, and we didn't know how to get rid of it. So now that we do, we have to make effort to do that. So with knowledge comes a different choice, and then we exercise that choice, and we get a new experience. All right, so this is about purity, and without purity, there is no spiritual seva. There can be seva which of physical kind. So you could physically cut vegetables, but that has nothing to do with bhog. You can cook food. So that is the difference between spiritual seva. I'm taking a very basic class in seva, so this is how it starts. So this is the first thing that Baba talks about today. And then Baba says today, so sweet children, become pure and you will become worthy of doing spiritual service. Soul conscious children, stay on the pilgrimage of remembrance and also enable others to stay on this pilgrimage. So Baba says, when you are soul conscious, you will always be in remembrance of Baba. Because just like a mother will always remember the child, a child will always remember the parent, a teacher will always remember the student, if they are conscious of that role. Similarly, when you know you are a soul, you remember that everything and anyone that belongs to you is Baba. So then you stay in Baba's remembrance. And then Baba says, you can make other people soul conscious when you are soul conscious and in remembrance of Baba. Yes? Have you seen sometimes you try to have a soul conversation in body consciousness? And then, after some time, you find yourself being very body conscious. So the conversation has changed, and then you are talking about the stuff that they wanted to talk about because you're trying to give a lesson in soul consciousness in body consciousness, and then that doesn't work. But if you are soul conscious, then you can pull that person to that dimension. So our words, our eyes, our drishti, our hands, what we do with the way we cook, everything, we have such great power to pull the other person into soul consciousness if we are doing it in soul consciousness and in remembrance of Baba. So this is what, so I will tell you one incident. There was this person who visited Mount Abu for the first time in a conference, and they did not know anything about Gyan. So there was this little young girl, and I told her to, just take care of whatever they are asking and what they need. And then this person attended 3 days of conference, and it was a very intellectual and spiritual, balanced conference. And then after the conference, I asked this person, so what is your experience, and did you like your stay in Mount Abu, and how did you feel? So he said nothing about the conference, and he only talked about that sister who was, in and around, and he said, the way she ate food was magical. So I said, what was magical about her way of eating food? So he said, she was so quiet and her eyes shone and she was so peaceful. And I was eating the same food and she was eating it like she's having some nectar. And I didn't understand what's so magical about her food. And then one day I asked her, is your food different? So it's like your food, the way you're eating your food is quenching your soul. And then she said, no, I'm only doing it in remembrance of Baba. So I'm drawing in the love and purity of Baba while I eat food. So he said, how do you do that? Just teach me that. I don't want to learn what they're teaching in the class. I just want to learn this, to be you. So she said, you be me when you do all of that. So, so you have to have, this whole journey to become that. So Baba says a soul conscious person can just give you a glimpse of the loving state and the beautiful state of soul consciousness and remembrance of Baba. Now the question today is, how does the income of you children, how does the income that you children earn at the confluence age become your true income? So all of you are earning an income, and then do you know that income is not going to go with you? So whatever you have built out of that income, or whatever you have created out of that income, or whether you have stored it away, that's not going to go with you. And what will go with you is if you have invested your resources in creating good karma. So that will go with you. So Baba says, I teach you how to earn the income that is true income. True means eternal. True means that which is never lost. So Baba says, I teach you how to create the stock of good karma out of whatever resources you have, and then that goes with you. So this is the secret behind the true income that Baba gives us. Now, there is this very beautiful song. We have to walk on that path where we fall, and we therefore also have to take care. So, in Hindi, the song is very beautiful. हमें उन राहों पर चलना है जहाँ गिरना और संभलना है. हम हैं वो दिए औरों के लिए जिन्हें तूफानों में जलना है. So this is the song, and it's a very beautiful song. And Baba says this spiritual path is not a path where you will never fall. There are several times when you will fall. And the success of a spiritual seeker is not in the fact that they never fall, but in the fact that they rise again abruptly. So, गिरना है पर संभलना है. So Baba says, there will be times when you face challenges from your mind, from circumstances, from behaviors. And I will tell you something very interesting that I have observed. So sometimes, knowingly or unknowingly, you engage in something that you wouldn't choose to engage. Okay, let's say you become angry, and then somewhere midway you realize that you got angry. Then the next thought you get is, okay, now that I got angry, let me finish this. Now that I've already messed up my account, let me finish this, let me mess it up properly, and then I'll sort it out. But Baba says, if you caught yourself in the middle of the act, just turn around at that point. Yes, sometimes, people will say that, okay, I missed Amrit Vela, so let me sleep up to 6 or 7 or 8 at least. Okay, you missed Amrit Vela, but by any accident, you got up at 4:30, so your eyes were open, so you sit at that time. Why do you have to say that, okay, when I missed Amrit Vela, let me just continue and let it be 8? What is the problem? Anyways, I missed Amrit Vela. Yes, so if you had one thing which is not edible for you, but then you had it by mistake, by choice, by the titillation of the senses, whatever, then you can just, as soon as you are aware of it, you can stop having it. Why do you say now that I have had it, it's okay, then I can have another one and another one? It goes in, it applies for everything. So, one day you feel lazy and then you keep feeling lazy. So you felt lazy, you didn't do something you could, and then when you realized it, change it. Then don't value in this fact, I got lazy, I wasted my time, and you waste more time thinking about I wasted my time. So Baba says, just when you catch yourself doing what you don't want to do, change it. And then, even if it surprises the other party, so there are other people you live with, and then they will say, so yesterday you were like this big devil, and today you are this nice saint. So I don't I don't get you. So you don't get discouraged by it, because this is your journey. Look at the song. So that's the journey. So you just do the best you can. Yes, and when you can't, do better. Okay, so so when you can, do your best. When you can't, just try to do better. So that is how it works. Now, this is it. And in today's Murli, there are many beautiful things. And the best thing is about Satyug, which Baba is describing how the golden age is and how we have come to this place, which is nowhere near what it was in the golden age. And Baba says in Satyug, you could pluck fruits from the trees and just sip it directly, and then the fruits, just like you can sip from a bottle, and the bottle is designed to give you ease of how you sip it. So the fruits will be designed so that you will have ease in sipping it. They will not fall over the place, or sometimes you want to eat a fruit whole, and then you are scared that it will make you very messy, and then you are tired thinking about how to cut it. So then you don't eat fruit. So especially about that pomegranate. So there is this pomegranate lying in the fridge, and then you think about cutting it, and then 3 days you think you have to cut it, and then the fourth day you finally pull up the courage and cut it and have it. So Baba says it's not like that in Satyug. Nothing gives you trouble. The fruits also give you a lot of ease, and you can cut it, and you don't even have to cut it. You can sip it directly. And then Baba says today that your idols, or your the figures in bhakti that they worship, they are also so beautifully adorned in jewelry. And then Baba says, think about when you were that deity, what kind of jewelry you would wear. So Baba says deities are so adorned in jewelry, and all the sisters here on the screen are having a nice time thinking about how much jewelry they'll wear in Satyug. So, and Baba says that jewelry will not be the jewelry that you wear these days, which is so heavy to carry and very uncomfortable. So I remember there was this class shared by a senior sister, and she shared that in Satyug you will have, these what you sprinkle on the eyelashes, and then that powder will be gold. But the gold will be so weightless that you could carry it on your eyelashes. It would be so smooth and so weightless that you could carry it on your eyelashes. So this is one description that I've heard of Satyug, and there are so many things that Baba talks about today. He talks about the cows in Satyug, and he talks about the manure in Satyug, and he says that the land is so fertile in Satyug, and you don't have that kind of land here. And Baba says, you don't have that kind of manure here, not those cows. And every element of nature is so depleted right now. And I remember, uh, even 20 years back, I remember that every vegetable had a distinct taste of its own. And these days, every vegetable you cook, you only taste the spice and the salt and the chili in it, and there is no taste of the vegetable. So these days, every vegetable tastes the same. So Baba says Satyug is full of essence. So the soul is essential, and so is nature, and every element of nature is full of essence and full of power. So that is something. And then now we have to also offer bhog to Baba. So I will only finish with the slogan. So in the slogan, Baba says, if you are prasanna chit, that is, if you are in a state of happiness, then you will not have any questions. That is, you will not be prashna chit. So when you are happy, you don't have any questions. Now, it's not like when you're happy, you don't have any questions, but the questions you have are not of the why kind. Yes. So, sometimes when children come for the course, they keep asking me, why is the drama meant to repeat every 5,000 years? Why does it have to repeat? Why does it have to repeat? And then I tell them, what is the problem if it is repeating? And then they tell me, I don't want this husband again. So, so, so you see, that why is coming from a place of discontentment here. So when you're unhappy about something, discontented with something, you ask why. And when you are happy about things, when you love what is, then you say wow. Then you don't say why. You say wow, we'll have these same people again. Again we'll meet. It's so beautiful. So Baba says you only ask why when you are unhappy or discontented. And if you make peace with what is, you will find that Gyan is very beautiful. You will be happy to know the secrets of knowledge. So this is what Baba is telling in the Murli today.